Hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm gonna try to make this one really quick today. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. There was a article published earlier this week that said there are now more non-black enrollees at HBCUs than there are black men. And it's a trend that's been going for quite a while now. And it's one that I don't think we're going to see any reversal in anytime soon, personally. So a lot of folks have been giving their takes on the internet, and I have seen some that are truly cringe. I've seen a black man saying that basically black men are not cut out for college, that they lack the ability to think or focus, and because of that they should steer clear of college altogether. And then I've seen some rather good takes, like those of Dr. Yvette Cardell. I do feel that there's a few reasons as to why. First and foremost is the cost and time investment. So college has gotten more and more expensive, and there is very little benefit. And because of the fact that we as black men still experience high levels of discrimination in the workplace, college is not the panacea, or as big a benefiter for us as it is those of other races and demographics. As such, we've gravitated more towards, collectively, more and more, I guess you could say, blue collar and trades and that type of employment, which does not require the investment of a 4-year degree. The other part of it is that as that return on investment has shrunk, there also is in the DEI era, there's not anything for black men. We have not made that investment. And as a community, collectively, when it comes to uplift, we haven't sowed that seed. And since we haven't sowed that seed, we can't reap. And this article, report, is an indictment of that. And I really, truly believe we need to be asking the question, why don't we care about the men in our society? Why don't we care about their economic viability? Why don't we care about their well-being? Even if you want to take the selfish route, and this is really more so for some of the commentators that I really loathe, like say Alvin or a FD, because they tend to speak about issues as if black men's issues are the exact same as women's issues, and that by solving women's issues you will solve men's issues, and that there is nothing unique about being a black man in America, which I vehemently disagree with. Yes, by virtue of our race and class positionality, we do share a good deal, but we also do diverge. This report is one of the many ways in which we diverge. frankly put, I would say there are a few reasons why young black men aren't gravitating to college like they used to. One is the cost, as I already said. Two is the environment. We don't tend to think of things in this way, but I feel like the reason that I kind of had a perspective that I do is because I don't see women as these creatures in peril. I see women as capable. I see women as, these beings who frankly don't really need the protection in that sense that we afford them. They are capable, and I see us as collaborators in terms of the roles that we take on in society. And I do believe in an order of things where men lead and women support, and part of that support means advocating for, and as Dr. Carnell said, advocating for and protecting people's reputation. So I feel that the environment has gotten so heavily imbalanced that there's a natural misandry to society that has permeated through a lot of these places, that now it's coming through into the institutions, and nobody wants to be put down there. An example of what I mean, I've shared this story before, but when I went through for my MBA, I finished with a 3.9. It was the first time I had a black man teach me a subject that was not gym. I was stoked. And I had 3 black professors, 3 black guys teach me something in my MBA. I was ecstatic. And I got this one professor. She was a black lady, and complete 180. And long story short, she insulted me. She belittled me. And she called me a disappointment in the feedback for my final assignment. And, argument would be here or there. She gave my final a D, which the final assignment was composed of 3 milestones, which the first milestone, granted these all comprise roughly a third of the assignment. The first one I got a C+. The second I got a B+. The third one I got an A. I took the critiques. I made changes to the sections. And, so it and after that hard work, to be called a disappointment was disheartening. But in hindsight, in that position, I don't think I would dare ever call a student a disappointment. And I know brothers who have similar stories in education, but also within the family, to where we just frankly don't believe collectively in black men. But beyond that, we have to make an investment, and we have to, as a black community, we have to put forth the time, the effort, the money and resources to make an investment in ourselves collectively, because there is no uplifting only half of us. We will not get anywhere leaving anyone behind. That only leads to our ruination. And the one thing I can say that had the smallest bit of pushback for Dr. Carnell. She said, I feel like you guys need better resource groups. And on his face, like, yeah, you could say that. The bit of pushback I would have is that she said it earlier. This shows that these people, and the fact that these disparities are so large, they aren't in community with you. And when it comes down to it, a lot of times it is just you, or it's a handful of you. I remember working at one place where our campus was maybe 2,000 or so employees, and within the whole building there was about, I'll say 6 black men who were managing. I want to say it was 4 who were frontline and 2 who were above that, so like director level and above. Out of 2,000. So oftentimes it's just you don't have the bodies. And I found personally, when you do try to do things to uplift and advocate for others, even something as simple as like, hey, I'm gonna do referrals and whatnot, I get the most pushback. I've never had a black guy that I referred get talked to, but when I referred other folks, they get talked to. They get an interview at the very least, and I find that rather interesting. And I don't think that's by accident. I think that's purposeful. But let me know your thoughts down below. You feel I'm off base? You feel I maybe missing something? But thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And peace. I'm out. Have a good weekend.